friends, it's Michelle from Little Farm in the Valley. So Christmas is right around the corner. What an exciting time of year. So I am all about, you know, all the Christmas goodies and all the good stuff that you make around the holidays. So I thought that I would come on here and do a Christmas baking series. So we're gonna tackle some stuff that I've never made before, some stuff that I make every year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So on today's video, to start off with, we are gonna tackle a white chocolate cranberry cheesecake. Doesn't that sound delicious? I've actually never made this, so this will be a learning process for me, but it sounds like it's gonna be a lot of fun and it'll get us all in the festive mood for this time of year. We finally have some snow on the ground, so it's actually starting to look and feel a little bit more like the Christmas season, and it's gonna feel even more so once we start to get going on this Christmas baking. I'm so excited. So we're going to start by making our graham cracker crust. I'm gonna crush these in my food processor. I think I need 2 cups, so I think 2 packages should probably equal the 2 cups. So we're gonna chop these up. So it's a little bit more than a cup. I'll just do the other package for good measure. Maybe a cup and a fourth. 1 1/4 cup is about what this package seems to equal. So we'll do one more, and then we'll keep going with the crust ingredients. So before we put together the crust, I like to wrap my cheesecake pan in foil because I like to do the water bath method. So you do your foil one way because it doesn't come up very far on these 2 sides. So I always do 2 pieces, kind of on both sides of my cheesecake pan, so the water can't get into the bottom of the pan. Make sure it's tucked up nicely. Okay, so our crust is our 2 cups graham cracker crumbs, a 4 cup sugar, and 6 tablespoons melted butter. So we'll get that stirred up. I suppose I should probably grease my cheesecake pan too. And then our crust, we're just going to press onto the bottom of here. Just like so. So a lot of cheesecake recipes will actually tell you to bake this for like 10 minutes at 300. This recipe doesn't, so we're just gonna leave it. And we're gonna move on to making a cranberry sauce that goes into the cheesecake before we bake it. Okay, for our cranberry sauce, we're going to take a 12-ounce bag of whole cranberries. And we're going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar. Keep one in the bag. Then we're gonna add a tablespoon of cornstarch. Let me grab a tablespoon. It's about a tablespoon. And a fourth teaspoon of cinnamon. So I have my powdered cinnamon here. It doesn't really say whether to use powdered or like this. I assume you would use powdered. I don't know how you would incorporate a cinnamon stick unless you would just cook it for a while and then take the stick out. A half cup orange juice is our next ingredient. Just gonna take my cup and fill it halfway. Right, so we're gonna cook this over high to medium heat until it comes to a boil and the berries start to pop. So we're just gonna stir this as it comes to a boil just to make sure there's nothing cooking onto the bottom. And now we wait for it to come to a boil and for these cranberries to start popping. So I think we're going to go ahead and call this ready. So we're going to remove it from the heat. So I'll kind of move it off the burner. And then I'm going to add a half teaspoon vanilla extract. Just going to eyeball this. And a pinch of table salt. So now we're going to get it put into a different container. Oh, that smells so good when that vanilla hit it. We'll get it put in here. So now the recipe suggests that we take a piece of saran wrap, press a piece of saran wrap directly onto the surface of the sauce, and then let cool to room temperature and then refrigerate. So that's what we're going to try. I really don't know the why behind this, but that's what it says. So there's our cranberry sauce. So next we're going to move on to our actual cheesecake batter. So this is a 3-pound container of cream cheese. So I need 24 ounces, which would be equal to 3 of the 8-ounce blocks. So I'm just going to use my kitchen scale. And I'm going to, if I can turn it on, I'll set it to ounces and measure out my 24 ounces in here. So I better set it to ounces first. $19, 22.6. I'm getting close. 24.7. 24.3, we'll call that close enough. So I have my cream cheese in the mixing bowl, and we're going to add 1 cup of sugar, and we're going to beat this. I like this attachment to beat the cream cheese and the sugar. You don't want to beat it too high, kind of just on a slower medium at first. So we're going to scrape this down. Cheesecake recipes always caution you not to over beat the batter. I guess it makes it like maybe a tough cheesecake or something undesirable. I don't see any more lumps, so I'm going to call this good enough. So after we've beat the cream cheese, we're now going to add our 1/2 cup of sour cream. This is very messy. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of flour. And a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to mix this again. That looks pretty well mixed. So we're going to move on to the white chocolate. So I have 8 ounces of white baking chips. You could also use the white chocolate baking, like the little bar things to melt, but this is all I had. So I'm gonna melt these in the microwave. I'm gonna be really cautious and do like 10 seconds at a time. Okay, so our white chocolate is melted. I did not burn it, so as soon as you can, while it's still melted, you want to get it into your filling and get it mixed in. This is 8 ounces of white chocolate chips. I am just making a big mess. Okay, let's get this mixed in while it's still warm and melted. So now we're going to add 3 eggs, one at a time. Beat them in after each egg. So now that we have mixed everything together, this is my cranberry filling. I actually, after I popped it in the fridge, I decided since it's not going to be enough time to cool off, I put it in the freezer for a while, and it looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to put about half of the batter into the pan. We're just going to guesstimate. I'm trying to hurry because I'm a little bit afraid of that white chocolate hardening. I don't know if it will at this point, but I don't know why it wouldn't. So we're going to take some of this cranberry stuff and take about half of it. Now we're going to swirl, trying to be gentle, but at the same time I'm trying to hurry. To just swirl it into your cheesecake. I have a very cranky baby, so it's only a matter of time until he needs me again. So just trying to get my cheesecake in the oven. So you're just going to swirl that around for a little bit. And now we're going to get the rest of the batter into the cake. Try and cover this cranberry layer as best we can. There's a little bit of must be hardened white chocolate on the side of the bowl there that had me worried, but it seems like the rest of it that got mixed into the cake did not harden. Okay, so we're gonna gently spread it out. At this point, I will put my oven on 350. I think this is gonna be a really, really good cheesecake. Looks so good already. Okay, now we're gonna come back with the rest of our cranberry topping. And we're gonna swirl this in again. Try and get some into the corners. This is going to be a really pretty cheesecake, hopefully. So for my cheesecakes, I like to do what's called the water bath method. I have a pan with a little bit of water, and this is why we put the foil on, so the water doesn't seep into the bottom of the pan. The idea is the water will steam, and that will cause your cake to bake without so many problems of the cake cracking. This doesn't always work, but I honestly have to say I have more success with my cake not cracking when I am using the water bath. So as soon as my oven is ready, I'm gonna get this in. So our cheesecake is in the oven, and it's going to bake for 50 to 60 minutes, and then we're gonna come back and check it. So this is our cheesecake after about an hour. You can see it's still a little bit jiggly in the center, which is what we're looking for. So at this point, I'm going to shut off the oven and leave the door closed for about a half hour. So after 30 minutes, our cake is a little bit firmer, but I'm going to leave it in the oven still and just crack the door a little bit for about another 30 minutes. So here's our cheesecake out of the oven, and it looks beautiful. It doesn't have any big cracks that you can see. I can see just a couple, but that's absolutely nothing to be concerned about. So the water bath did its job once again, and I am not in a hurry with this cheesecake. I have all the time in the world to let it cool. If you are in a hurry, you can take it out of the form now, but it is more than likely going to crack. So if you're going to do that, be extra careful. I have cracked so many cheesecakes taking it out of the form too soon. So what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna refrigerate it. I'm gonna take it out of the water bath, of course, but I'm gonna refrigerate it just like that. And then after it's had all night to cool in the morning, I will put on the finishing touches. So here's our cheesecake the next day, all cooled and all beautiful looking still, no cracks. So what we're gonna do is work on the garnish for this, and then we're gonna take it out of the mold and see what it looks like. So for a garnish, I was gonna do sugared cranberries, and I thought, okay, sugared cranberries must just be cranberries rolled in sugar, right? Well, apparently it's a bit of a process. So we're gonna start with a half cup of water in a pot or a saucepan. So we're gonna add a half cup of sugar. The recipe suggests cane sugar, and I usually have cane sugar, but for some reason I happen to be out. So we're just gonna use regular sugar. So you whisk that together. Now we're gonna turn on the heat and bring it just to a boil. just enough so that the sugar dissolves. You can see even after my whisking, it's not quite dissolved. So we're gonna let it come to just a simmer and dissolve the sugar. So now that this is boiling and I've dissolved the sugar, I'm gonna turn off the heat, add a cup of cranberries, and we're gonna let them steep covered for 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, we're going to strain this off, and you should be able to save the liquid if you want. Apparently it's a really delicious cranberry simple syrup. So we're gonna take the cranberries and lay them on this parchment and spread them out and let them dry for an hour. So while they dry, I'm going to get the cheesecake out of the mold, and I'm gonna whip some heavy cream and set my timer for an hour and let these cranberries dry. And there's my cranberry syrup. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, so the moment of truth. Taking this cheesecake out of the mold. Coming away very nicely for the most part. So now we're just going to lift it out of the foil. Just beautiful. I'm just going to put this in a plastic tray. This is what I'm going to store it in while we're eating it, I guess. That way I can keep it covered. And okay, we're going to whip some cream. So I'm just going to do a half cup of heavy cream in the mixer. Let that ready. So we're going to put our cream into this piping bag. I'm not sure if I have the best tip, but we'll see how this works. I just need to make some swirlies around the edge of the cheesecake. Let me just say, I am not a professional at making cakes, so that one didn't turn out very nice. I do like to make cakes, but I feel like I'm definitely not very skilled in most of the techniques because I don't do it a lot. Well, it actually doesn't look half bad. Can you hear the rooster crowing? We have a new rooster that's just starting to crow, and he thinks it's a lot of fun. So what we're gonna do is, once the candied cranberries are ready, we're gonna put a cranberry on each of these and maybe a pile in the middle. I think that would look pretty good. So it's been an hour, and we're gonna go ahead and sprinkle some sugar over these. I know the cane sugar would have worked better, but I didn't have any. So we're just gonna roll them in the sugar. They are a little bit sticky from the syrup. Trying to be gentle and not burst them. Maybe I need more sugar. Oh, these are really pretty. Okay, so my plan is to take some of the really big pretty ones and do this. So I also have some little tiny sprigs of rosemary. The recipe suggested thyme, but I do not have thyme. But I found some rosemary that's still kind of a sprig. Maybe I'll do every other one, just in case I don't have enough. What makes it look extra festive. So with my remaining cranberries, I'm thinking to just make a pile here in the middle. This looks almost too pretty to eat. So here is our white chocolate cranberry cheesecake. I can't wait to dig in, but I will be putting it away for a couple of days yet. Cheesecakes refrigerate remarkably well. They just get better with age. I'm just hoping these hold up in the refrigerator. So anyway guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a video, and we will talk to you soon.